Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Alliance Tech. So today I'm going to show you what we've been starting up this last couple weeks. I've been showing you guys a couple short videos of what I've been doing. I'm actually starting up a spiral freezer. So the spiral freezer is made by IJ White, and we attach the compressors and vessels and condensers and stuff to it. So today it's just been, I'm going to show you what I've done, and I've already pulled a vacuum. I've already put a holding charge in the system, and I've tried to pump as much refrigerant in as I can into the recirculator as much as possible, so when we start up the compressors don't short cycle. But so far I've only been able to get about 1,600 pounds in. So today the GIA guy for the compressors, these are GEA compressors, and they're really nice compressors. So I think Mike Voorhees will be here today from GIA. I think that's what his name is. Not 100% sure. Not 100% sure, but don't quote me on that. Sorry, Mike, if I screwed your name up. But I will be speaking with the GIA guy today. I think it's going to be him. It's usually him, and I'll show you what we're doing with that. So he should be decoupling the compressor today. The motor and the compressor, decoupling it, bumping the motors, make sure to spin the right direction. I did pull the start relays out of the CR2 relays out of the micro panels, so the compressors will not start, because I wanted to leave the panels on overnight and have the oil heat up and stuff. So I pulled the start relays out, so no one can just go in there and try to start the compressors and potentially damage them when I'm not here. And I already tested the pump rotation, had a liquid at 21%, a liquid inside the recirculator. They use Danfoss level probes in there. So the Danfoss probes, you got to program the length and your dead zones, and your 4 milliamp and your 20 milliamp, and when you program those, that offsets your dead zones in the probe. So do that for the recirculator and the high pressure receiver. Those are the only level probes you have on the system. We do have a subcooler on the system, and we do have like 6 coils on the IJ White system. So those have all a bunch of control valves and stuff. I'll take you through that today as well, and you guys will be able to see the whole startup, what we've done, what we're doing, what we're going to do. So stay tuned, and I'll see you inside. Hey guys, so let me show you the compressor room here. We got a couple compressors here. This is the spiral freezer, so check it out. We got 2 compressors here. That's compressor 2, that's compressor 1. We got everything all ready to go for the startup guy. The GIA startup guy, what he's going to do, he's going to decouple the coupling and start everything. Everything's fired up here. I did pull the start relays, let me show you that. Kind of neat here. So everything's all nice and tidy in here. I hid the start relays back here. So here's the start relays, they go right there. So it's kind of neat. So I just didn't want anybody starting these things up and, you know, voiding the warranty. So whatever that is these days. So here's what the coupling looks like. This one had a slight leak out of the seal here when I first pressurized it. So I had to rotate the shaft a little bit, and it went away. But that's what the coupling looks like. So if you haven't seen one before, that's what GIA does. Really nice, really nice. They're full of oil here. Oil's nice and hot. Nice and hot here, so let's see what's going on here. Oil separated to 114 degrees. That's pretty good. You know, you can go with the classic view on these. You can go classic view, which is, I don't know why they have that on there. I don't really, this panel is kind of hard to use. So in order to go through all your set points, you have to scroll through everything on these panels here. And honestly, I would just like a button that took me to each location with a menu that did that, so I wouldn't actually miss it. You're scrolling through something, you could miss something, you know. So it's a lot easier if you had just buttons that take you to control capacity 1, control capacity 2, control capacity 3. But the same thing here with your operating data here. There's a lot of stuff in here that's here. You have to configure it for what you want. I configured this for exactly everything I want to see. I don't want to have to like scroll through to see a temperature. You have a lot of miscellaneous stuff on there that you don't really need to see. You can go to edit grid and see all that stuff anyway if you wanted to see that stuff. But it had like motor current, capacity, runtime in here when it's already up here. So there's no point in like having it again. So in this case, there's a starter information here as well. So I'll let the gear guy put all that stuff in. I think it's already all in there, but this panel communicates with the actual starter on these new compressors here. So plastic view, main view. That's it. So let me show you the recirculator package here. So here's the recirculator here. I do have liquid in there. You got some hand options, auto options on these here. I was running the pumps yesterday. I just checked rotation. These are Taikoku pumps here, and they have a bearing wear indicator in there. I don't know if you can see that, but if you rotate the wrong direction, they'll peg out to red right away. So you'll know right away that you have a problem. So I installed the filter cord riders in here, so all those are installed and ready to go. So here's our subcooler circuit here. We're just subcooling the liquid that goes into our recirculator there. So there's not a got some stuff we gotta put back on here. The insulators took off some stuff so they wouldn't get dirty here. So, but I'll wrap all that up nice before the end of the day. And so there's one pump there. There's another pump there. If you notice, this pump 3, it's future. It's going to go right here. So you got the suction, the inlet to the pump here, and then it's going to do the Taikoku section with the bearing vent for the rear here and out. So we're going to be pretty good to go there. So there's a motorized liquid feed in, solenoid, liquid feed, strainer. Here's our bypass. Our bypass is open right now. And then there's a high pressure receiver. So kind of neat here. See if you look on top, you can kind of see the Danfoss probe way up there. And then you got on this, on the recirculator, you have another Danfoss probe here. So that's where you got to program you got to cut your cables a certain length, measure those cables, and then once you get them measured, you can program your 40 milliamp and your 20 milliamp set points, which will offset your dead zones. Quickest way to explain it, I mean, you can pull up the manual. Here's the control system here. Can't really show you because it has the customer's name on it, but you can see this. Yeah. Let's look inside. I think you guys have already seen some of this, but here's all our, you got your analog input cards, output cards, digital input, digital output cards. This right here is kind of neat here. So this is a Modbus to TCP adapter, so IP adapter. So we're coming to IP in and we're communicating to Modbus. So I had to make this cable up here. So this is just Belden 2-wire cable here, and I had to find the number 8 pin and the number 6 pin off this serial connection here, and then solder them together here. And then I soldered them, and then I shrink wrapped them, and then I shrink wrapped the whole thing. So it made that cable work as Modbus. Kind of neat. This is not Ethernet, it's serial. So if you look at it, it says serial. It's just a serial connection, Modbus 485, 282, 9 pin, 15 pin, those are all serial connections. So, but most of it's 282, 485. So they don't really use 282 anymore, so it's more like 485. And you guys can That's still kind of the protocol. That's how the compressors communicate with the starters too. They communicate with Modbus. So they also has a Modbus adapter inside the compressors as well. And I just don't know why they don't go with IP. You know, it's just like everything else uses IP protocol. They're still using solar technology when this newer one is pretty much going to take over everything. So here's the back of UPS here. We did only receive one battery in here. It needs to be 2 batteries. So the maker of this control panel is going to give us another battery, or give us 2 new batteries, because they actually had 28 volts to 1 battery, which is 12-volt battery. So you know, it shouldn't really do that. But it was shutting it down, so possibly that could have saved it. Yep, that's it here. That's for inside. We got our fan detectors there. Detectors for leak indicators and hardened struts. And here's our leak detector here, right here. Man, CTI here. We're going to be, I think that's a 1% sensor. So let me show you the Modbus Protocol. These things, they're on, so can't really open those up unless you shut them off. So here's the really cool connection here. Here's the Modbus connection here, and this cool little information key here for all the manuals and stuff that's inside there. So if you want to put those on your computer, you can, which I do. So I'll take this, I'll copy everything on this drive here, and I'll make a file folder for this account, and I'll put that on that file folder account. So when I pull up the account, I can pull up the exact model number information of this package, and which is right there, you know. So I can definitely and I'll write all the stuff down too. I got to fill up all my startup information still, so and get this ball on the road here. So we have a supply fan in here as well. We got the supply fan up there. It brings in nice cool air from outside. We actually have like a evaporative cooler up there. It's so if it gets hot out, it'll bring nice moist air in. And here's our exhaust fan up here. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's those little dampers right there. It's the exhaust fan. So that's 7.5 horsepower. The supply fan's 3 horsepower. And you can go ahead and see here's the VFDs that operate those fans. And this thing has a really cool oil return system. So the 507 is very miscible sorry, not 507. Oil is very miscible in 507, so it's going to be mixed with the refrigerant, and you're going to pump that throughout the system. So on the top of the pump leg, you got a little line that goes out, and it goes through a little heat exchanger up here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a little coil thing up there, and it uses the condensate drain off the condensers, and that vapor liquid will go through the heat exchanger and vaporize the refrigerant that happens to be in that oil sample, and that the rest of that oil will then travel over to our little oil header. You notice there's some side glasses up there. There's little side glasses right there, and it goes in that oil header. And then when we can go look in there and see if there's any oil. If there is, we can add the oil to the compressor that's running at that time. So those are going to remain closed, and then we will go ahead on maintenance, open those up, and transfer the oil to the compressor that needs oil. It's not much oil, but it's a start. So that's it for in here, guys. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. So we got the compressors halfway ready to go. We did find some issues going on. We did find, when inspecting the motor leads, they were They were wired in start, not run, so we're rewiring those right now. We decoupled the compressors already, so the compressor moves, motor moves separately, so we're good to go there. And the startup guy he's a good guy. He's already ran through everything. It's not Michael, I thought it was. It's Kevin from GE, but he's a good guy. He didn't want to be filmed, so we're not going to film him. We're going to respect his wishes here. So we're going to go ahead and touch all this stuff up too when we're done. We already got everything opened, and this is decoupled already as well. And we will test rotation tomorrow, validate that, and that's about it. So everything inside's done, pretty much done, ready to go. Oops. We found everything okay inside the panels here. So we're going to go ahead and put everything back in the panels here. I don't want to lose anything. There you go. He's already turned the oil pumps on. Check the oil pumps for rotation. And these things are going to be fired up here tomorrow. So stay tuned, and you guys get to see these things running tomorrow.